NHL players will not be going to the Olympics this year in what cannot be considered a surprise. We've got the latest and how it will affect the Islanders' schedule going forward, plus our weekly farm report, and a lot more coming up on this episode of the Locked On Islanders podcast.
Your Locked On Islanders, your daily podcast on the New York Islanders. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, everybody. Welcome to the Wednesday edition of the Locked On Islanders podcast. Gil Martin here with you. So glad you could join us today, and thank you for making Locked On Islanders your first listen every day. We are free and available on all platforms. We've got a lot to talk about on today's show. The NHL announcing that players will not be participating in the Olympics this year. Can't say that's a surprise given everything that's happening around the league with COVID and everything else. But we'll talk about what that's going to mean for the Islanders, because there will be some changes to the schedule, and we have to see how that pans out. We'll have the latest for you. We have our weekly farm report, and basically we are also looking at our Islanders birthday of the day, a defenseman who didn't play a lot of games for the Islanders, but did have an impact in the games that he did play. So we'll have that for you coming up in just a few. If you've got something Islanders related on your mind, if you have a question, a comment, or a topic you'd like us to talk about, feel free to send us an email. The email address is lockedonislanders@gmail.com. And if you leave your first name and where you're from, we are happy to mention you on the show when we talk about whatever it is that's on your mind. You could also follow the show on Twitter at Locked On Isles, and you could follow me, Gil Martin, on Twitter at Ice Wars, NYR_VSNYI. We'll keep you up to date on all the latest Islanders news, notes, and happenings, and when play does resume after Christmas, please know that I am live tweeting during nearly every Islanders home and road game. Always great to talk to fans, so please do join us for that. Let's get right down to it. The Islanders and the rest of the NHL players now basically saying they will not be participating in the Olympics February in China. And I can't say that comes as a surprise. When you look around the league, 15% of the players as of Monday were in COVID protocol. This Omicron variant is spreading very, very rapidly. And it is one of those situations where sending players to travel internationally, a situation where they and the protocols not be controlled by the players or the league, all kinds of. Obviously, you don't want to bring new strains, new variants, and possible health issues from gets up a situation trying to see and go on that. Then on Olympics. Now, what does that mean for the Olympics? Again, from what we've heard, it probably means that the countries involved will still field teams, but we're not sure exactly. Not sure exactly who will be on those teams. Could it be college players, amateur players? I could imagine Canada sending senior league players, for example, but we don't know yet. And as soon as we do hear some regard to that, of course, we'll let you all know. No Olympics. And look, F1 fans with John Tavares and miss the rest of this and call the owners possibly off Earth, or at least a realistic option that year. When the Olympics, and it's a one and a half to take. So that is off the table. How many Islanders would have made the Olympics? I think Gil Martin would been a candidate, Anders Lee, perhaps. But even if it was one or two or players, you know, that still could run the risk of issues. And we now know that is not going to happen. The good news, perhaps, is February will now be used to make up some of the games when we shut down. No, there is still a lot of arenas and you know they figured, hey, our NHL team would probably book college basketball, you know, depending on the book, whatever it is that they could. But let's even say that they play one or two games during that 3-week period. And they play one or two home games, one or two road games. It's a reduced schedule, but an opportunity to make up some 4 or 5 games that teams will miss and keep the league on schedule if they can. You know, a lot on happens, it spreads. Has to go back into bubble type if necessary to complete the season. Whether that's possible, there are a heck of a lot of unknowns. Islanders, we still not know officially what the schedule is going to be, but right now they'll be amending on what is the latest news as of the Olympic break. The Islanders against negative. Islanders plus Islanders birthday. Primal. You care about has a beard, it needs to get Primal. Maybe you're that guy who has never considered the benefits of treating your beard with product. Primal Origin Oils will stop the itch and make you look healthy and green. The products are all free from harmful synthetic ingredients and with a low impact on our planet. Primal Origin Oils makes balms, oils, and whipped butter that are renowned as the best feel and beard products available. And all products are fair trade certified and handcrafted in the USA. The combo kits make a great holiday gift, and if you're shopping for yourself, you will be glad you did. I'll tell you, I have a cousin of mine who has a beard. He tried the Primal Origin oils, and he really liked the way it felt on his beard. Now, we know every company claims to have the best, but with Primal Origin oils, they challenge you to compare their ingredients and the feel in the beard to other products you've used. We promise you will see and feel the difference. Now, remember, the code LOCKEDON, one word, gets you 20% off at primaloriginoils.com. Use the code LOCKEDON at checkout for 20% off at primaloriginoils.com. This episode is also brought to you by Built Bar this holiday season. Grab the protein bar that tastes like a candy bar, or even better than a candy bar. That's Built Bar. It's filled with so much holiday goodness, rich with decadent flavor, covered in chocolate, but amazingly low in calories, sugar, net carbs, and fat, and high in protein. You get the best of both worlds. It's both delicious and healthy. And look, they've got so many flavors, you'll have a hard time choosing. Will you have raspberry or mint brownie, cherry or double chocolate, cookies and cream or peanut butter brownie? Built Bar gives you that extra fuel you need to bust down those mall doors and battle all the holiday shoppers. Or if you're just standing in endless shopping lines, Built Bar can give you that extra something to keep you going. So throw one in your jacket or purse. You never know when you're going to need it. Want to cozy up with something warm? Here's a holiday secret. Dip your Built Bar into a piping hot cup of cocoa. Let it melt a little and give your beverage a bit of that Built Bar flavor. Plus, you'll have a nice, melty Built Bar to go with it. And be sure to have a couple of napkins on hand. Like some of those marshmallowy treats around the holidays, you'll need to get your hands on Built Bar Puffs. They're light, fluffy, and marshmallowy through and through. Different flavors, all covered in chocolate. Taste so good, you won't believe that they're filled with protein. Go to Built.com, use promo code LOCK15, and you'll get 15% off your order. That's 15% off your order when you use the promo code LOCKed15 at Built.com. Thanks again for making Locked On Islanders your first listen every day. We are free and available on all platforms. Let's go back and talk a little Bridgeport Islanders as we do our weekly farm report. It takes place most Wednesdays. Occasionally, depending on the schedule, we move it around a day or two, but no games this week, so easy to do the farm report today. And the Bridgeport Islanders, I'll tell you, they had 3 games since we last spoke, and they went 1-1-1 in those 3 contests. Last Wednesday, December 15th, they hosted the Providence Bruins. They went to a shootout, fell in that game by a score of 2-1, and that was a frustrating kind of a loss because they really did play well. Corey Schneider, 29 saves in that one, had 4 saves in 5 rounds of the shootout, kept the team in the game, but could not quite get it done. Now, Schneider playing well after a slow start. He is 3-0-1 in his last 4 games. Cole Bardreau scoring the only goal for the Islanders, and he scored in all 3 games that the Bridgeport Islanders played this past week. So they picked up a point in that first game. Then the second game, the 2 weekend games, they went to Charlotte for both of those. And on Saturday, a 5-1 win for the Bridgeport Islanders. And that was probably their best game, their first trip to Charlotte. And, 3 goals in the first period. Bardreau, Jeff Kubiak, Blade Jenkins, Michael Dalcole, and Chris Terry all scoring. Jakub Skarek making 28 saves. And the 5 goals, basically the most they've scored all year. And now basically they have their first 2-game road winning streak. So that was definitely a plus. So a nice performance there on Saturday, arguably Bridgeport's best performance overall of the year. Sunday, they had a matinee again in Charlotte, and this one didn't go quite as well. Bridgeport falling by a score of 3-1. And again, Bardreau got his 4th goal of the year and his 3rd straight game with a goal, but it was a 3-1 loss. All 3 of Charlotte's goals came in a different situation. 1 power play, 1 even strength goal, and then an empty netter with 1:02 left in regulation time. So the Bridgeport Islanders now in 7th place. They have pulled out of the basement in their division, and they have one game. It'll be tonight before the holiday break in the AHL. And always, these games subject to COVID and all the other details about it, but they will be in Hartford to take on the Hartford Wolfpack. That's tonight, December 22nd, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern time start, and you can check that out on AHL TV. Then the Bridgeport Islanders have their holiday break, and they will have 2 games next week after the holiday break. Again, COVID permitting, but Tuesday, December 28th, a home game against the Springfield Thunderbirds. That is a 7 o'clock start, followed by Wednesday, the following night, the Hartford Wolfpack come into Bridgeport to take on the Sound. Excuse me. I still have that habit, the Islanders. I still think Sound Tigers. It's been so many years, and so I got to break that habit. But anyway, look at the scoring leaders for Bridgeport. Chris Terry, 24 games, 9 goals, 22 points. He leads the team in goals. I got to give a shout out to Cole Bardreau. He's only played in 9 games, but he has 5 points. 4 of those 5 points are goals. Michael Dal-Cole also only 7 games played, 5 points for him, 3 goals and 2 assists. Otto Koivula, 20 points in 22 games, 6 goals, 14 assists. Austin Zarnik, who has been up with the Islanders back and forth running the ferry shuttle there from Bridgeport back to the island. He has 6 goals and 15 points. Andy Andreoff, 5 goals, 14 points in 22 games. And Arno Durando, 26 games, 4 goals, 14 points for him. And, I think Bridgeport, again, they are solidifying what they've been able to do. And no, they're not putting together big winning streaks yet at this point, but we see their play has clearly improved. You look at the 2 goaltenders, Jakub Skarek, a 2.87 goals against average. He is 6-7-2 with 1 shutout and a 9.06 save percentage. Corey Schneider, after a slow start, 3-6-1, a 2.89 goals against average and a 9.08 save percentage. Shootouts, incidentally, Skarek has saved 3 out of 4, Schneider 4 out of 5. But overall, again, just like the Islanders NHL version, the AHL team, a little trouble scoring in shootouts. We do our weekly farm report every Wednesday. Sometimes we bump it forward or back a day, but almost every Wednesday. So make sure you join us for that, and you can learn about what's happening with the future of the New York Islanders, their players today. So always a pleasure to do that. And if you want to try to head up to Bridgeport and catch some of those games next week after the holiday break, the Islanders may not be playing for a little while. We'll see, but we'll see if the Bridgeport version of the Islanders will do it. We've got more to get to on today's show. We have our Islanders birthday of the day and some more thoughts about the Olympic situation and the makeup games and everything else. All that still to come on this episode of the Locked On Islanders podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by your friends at BetOnline. BetOnline has you covered this holiday season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before as football continues its march through the college bowl season and the pro football playoffs. BetOnline remains your number one spot for all the sports action this season. So head to the website and use your mobile device to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use the promo code LOCKEDON, one word, locked on, to receive your bonus. And yes, betonline.ag will give you a 50% welcome bonus. That's free money to bet on site when you use the promo code Locked On, just because you listen to the Locked On Islanders podcast. From basketball, football, NHL, boxing, and UFC, right to your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers available for the 2021 season. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports, so don't wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers available today. BetOnline, where the game starts. now for our Islanders birthday of the day. We are going to go back and, well, let's say this. Monday was the 39th birthday for defenseman Joe Callahan, in the third round of the 2002 draft by the then Phoenix Coyotes. Spent 3 seasons at Yale, and he's a 4'3", 220 defenseman, kind of a big guy. Made his NHL debut with the Islanders in 2008-2009, 18 games with the Isles. He had 2 assists, was a +5, and had only 4 penalty minutes. Played 1 game with the San Jose Sharks, then went on to the Florida Panthers in 2010-2011 to the AHL for the next 2 seasons before hanging up his skates. In 46 career NHL games, we're talking about Joe Callahan had 4 assists and seen in an NHL. We're going to go back and look at one of Callahan's better games with the Islanders, 2009 at the Nassau Coliseum. The Colorado Avalanche in town. Their goal, Andrew Rakoff, for the Jan Denis was in between the pipes, and it was the Islanders game. Hammond is 5th. John assists as the Islanders clock. Time of the goal, 13:15. It was the first period. Islanders broke ahead. Former Islander Ryan Smith, his 22nd of the year on the power play early in the period. John Sim was off for tripping. Smith is 22nd. Paul Stastny and Milan Hajduk with the assists, and it's a 1-1 game. But the Islanders answered back a little less than 2 minutes later. Jesse Joensuu, his first. John Sim and Joe Callahan, our Islanders' birthday of the day, with the assists. At 2:31, Islanders regained the lead 2-1. Then later in the period, Bruno Gervais, his first of the year. John Sim and Blake Como with the helpers at 13:04. After 2 periods, Islanders had a 3-1 lead on the Avs. Ryan Smith wasn't done, though. He wanted to send his former team a message. He potted his 23rd goal just a minute 2 into the third period, with Marek Svatos and Ruslan Saleh getting the assists. That made it a 3-2 game, and the Islanders' lead was cut to 1. But Jeff Tambellini, he potted his third from Mark Streit at 4:48 to close out scoring. Islanders beat the Avalanche by a score of 4-2 for Jan Denis, 20 saves to earn the win. But for Joe Callahan, our Islanders' birthday of the day, he had 1 assist, one of his 2 as an Islander. He was a +1 and played for 18 minutes and 9 seconds in this game. So a solid performance there for Joe Callahan, and a nice win for the Islanders, beating Ryan Smith, who, as we all know, was traded to the Islanders in 2007 to much fanfare, helped them reach the playoffs, and then signed with the Avalanche for less money than what the Islanders offered. So that made him, needless to say, not exactly an Islanders fan favorite the rest of his career. Birthday, a couple days late, former Islanders defender Joe Callahan, he is our Islanders. To me, I'm disappointed that NHL players won't be participating in the Olympics. I always prefer it that way. It's a great showcase for hockey. But at the same time, how can you ask players to make sacrifices and risk their health and the health of their young children, parents, grandparents, etc.? You don't want to see that. And to me, the more important thing, as much as I love Olympic hockey, is that the NHL figures out to see, get things done, and be as fair as possible. Because let's face it, when you have 7 players, 5 players because of COVID, it isn't fair to both teams. It isn't fair to the fans who are paying full price NHL level product and their gift. It just is not ideal. Let's put it that way. So to me, canceling NHL player participation in the Olympics and going to make up some games during the break is a better idea, and it gives the league more flexibility if they do need to cancel any additional games. So we'll have, to me, it's a good decision, even if it's disappointing. Want to thank everyone again for making Locked On Islanders your first listen every day. Now make your second listen Locked On Bets. It's your daily one-stop shop for all your gambling needs. Locked On Bets is hosted by your boy Q with expert analysis and insight from Lee Sterling. It's free and available on all platforms. That does it for this episode of the Locked On Islanders podcast. We have a lot to get to later this week. We will have our Islanders Christmas gift wish list, and that should be kind of interesting as what Islander fans really want for Christmas. And no, a Stanley Cup. Yeah, that's one of them, but let's be a little more short term in that thinking. But we'll have that. We'll have all the latest news concerning rescheduling, COVID, illnesses, when games are going to be made up, anything that breaks, we will have it here for you. So make sure you join us for that. Until then, have a great day, everybody. Stay safe. And of course, let's go Islanders.